Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we hear from Lecrae and his recent podcast with a former witch, and we learned what a medium was. Do demons exist? To be honest with you guys, I really struggled with some of this stuff. I didn't know what take to have, or it really challenged where I stood on these things. But yeah, let us know what you guys think.
So I really don't know why I did that, but it didn't work because 2 minutes later I come back in, my grandpa calls my mom back, says it's over. And I just like collapsed. I screamed at the top of my lungs. We had to wait to get to Bermuda, the cruise destination, so that we could get on a plane and fly back home and bury her. It was...
Right, can you explain what's going on so far?
So basically, this woman is a former witch, is what it says. But this is before that. And her grandma dies. And basically, like, her grandma was like her best friend, like, even so, all that kind of thing. And like, to kind of process it, she's talking about how she goes to a medium to like go try and talk to her grandma and stuff. And then this is just her talking about the backstory of it, basically.
And what's a medium like? I sort of know who they are, what they could be, but is it like a...
I don't know massively. She explains it.
Okay.
So, but I don't. I think it's more like someone who believes they can talk to spirits and stuff.
Okay.
So I think she'll probably explain more.
So it was like horrific for me. I mean, I was already depressed. I was already anxious. I was already suicidal. I was already self-harming. I was also super overweight at the time. So I was just very unhealthy physically, emotionally, spiritually. And then for my best friend to die, like my grandma, she was like my everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know what to do. I didn't, as I said, know God, but I knew of God. So I remember feeling angry at God, which was weird because I never had really like considered how God feels about me or how I felt about him before that. But I used to write this like really talk about emo, this really like emo poetry about it. Like, you know, if God was there, like, you know, the God of love that I've heard of, if he was really love, like, why would he take her from, like, stuff like that. I was really angry.
Yeah.
And I internalized a lot of that. And it led me to a medium about 6 months after she died, where I just wanted to hear her.
So a medium. Like a...
So she'll go on now. Because we asked the question, so she'll kind of explain what a medium is way better than I did, if I did it right.
Or
So-
like, how do you... Because yeah, for those of us who don't know, like...
So a medium would specifically be like necromancy, like talking to the dead. They can have psychic ability, like, because when you hear psychic, that's more so like fortune telling, like gazing into the future sort of thing.
Okay.
Mediumship is communing with dead people, which you
Yes.
can't,
Which
are
I
demons.
do remember King Saul, like, being chastised in the scriptures for trying to like communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we know that you're not supposed to do that, like, as believers. But how does your brain know, let me go find a medium to talk to my grandma?
So because it's so normal, like it's desensitized in culture that like these things are just cool and normal to do. Like it was 2014, so Long Island Medium was super popular at the time.
Okay.
And I used to watch shows like that. I was really into the paranormal, like growing up, not obsessively, but I thought it was cool to like watch spooky stuff and
Horror movies
Yeah,
and
horror
all.
movies, things like even though it really scared me to my core, I still watched it.
Have you watched that sort of stuff before?
Horror films.
Yeah, or like even paranormal TV and all that stuff.
Not paranormal TV, but I've watched horror films. I
Yeah.
find them quite interesting.
Fair.
I used to like geek out over them and all that. More the fact like being a Christian and like believing it's real from like such a young age. That's why it interested me. More than anything.
Yeah. That makes sense. I guess like it. Yeah. I guess it gives like a something to watch that is around that subject. If you're interested in it,
Yeah.
there's not really a lot out there immediately that you could watch that is like about that. I guess like most horror films are about like this sort of subject, right?
Yeah, it's like demons, demonics, which there's nothing else really about it. Even in the Bible, it doesn't talk about it massively.
True.
So it's like, I don't know, just as a kid, you just find it quite fascinating. Not that I watched loads of horror films, but it did fascinate me, do you know what I mean?
No, I've watched some, but not in a long time. But do you find that they have like an impact on you, or do you feel like they're like just entertaining to you, or you find them just intriguing to watch?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not like a massive horror film watcher, do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I'm not just
Yeah.
going to bang one on a Saturday.
okay.
But I do find them quite interesting. And I do think it's because believing it's real, or knowing it's real, kind of has that extra like, wow, this is someone like contextualizing in a way, something that I believe in. Even though it might not be from the same point of view,
It's the opposite.
it's kind of,
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like it gives you an image to something, like to something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's quite fascinating.
Do you fall for the jump scares like quite a bit, or do you
Nah,
not
but I
really
think
about that?
nah, I think I'm expecting them so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there we go.
Yeah, for me, if I watch one like in the evening,
Mm.
like it will be on my mind probably for the rest of the night.
There is one I watched one time, with a mate. It wasn't even that long ago, probably like a year or two ago. And I was like, I just went to sleep. I was like, I can't watch this. It was, and it wasn't even that bad, but it was
Yeah.
just like real demonic and like, it was weird,
Yeah.
man. Like it was like real dark, and I was like, who would even think to make this?
Yeah,
Like weird spirit about it. Weird spirit
Yeah.
about it. Like to create something that imaginary. So it's basically this demon that is like attached to this house, like quite a common concept, and it's basically like haunts this woman and kind of possesses to a point and like gets her to like kill her husband in a way and stuff, but she doesn't think she's doing it. Really, it is really weird. And I was like, to get to a point where you're directing and writing that story, like where's your head at? That was my thought, and I was
weird.
like, yeah, I'm not watching this.
that is weird, man. Even like talking about it makes me feel like weird. Like, yeah,
Mm.
that's what to say.
Nice.
Shit, which is so weird that
Yeah.
like we have this draw to things that we know are going to terrify us.
Yes. True story. I don't want because I don't want to interrupt, but
That's okay.
but I remember being so afraid. I'm kind of embarrassing myself a little bit, but it's true. I remember being so afraid of werewolves in like the 5th grade from watching movies that I went to the library to look up a spell to turn myself into a werewolf.
Wow.
Because like, if I can become
Wow.
one, then they can't harm me.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but I kept wanting to watch the movies to like try to kill the fear in me. And you're saying you watched all this paranormal stuff, so you instantly said, "Let me go
Yeah.
seek out a medium."
Right.
So you go find a medium
Right,
to
yeah.
reconnect with your grandmother.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was anything like, it's not like this woman had like a coven and like a cloak and a hat or anything like that. It was just, we had heard through the grapevine of some family friends. This lady, she does like these house events where you can gather like 15 to 20 people, and as she's led, she'll talk to you and talk to whoever you're trying to communicate with. So it wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know there was like some demonic spiritual agreement that was happening. I didn't know this was an open door to the demonic. I didn't know this was even witchcraft. I just thought, wow, could I really talk to my grandma
You miss
again?
grandma. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what the enemy does. That's what the devil does. Like I say all the time, now he capitalizes on trauma. And when you don't know better, he does. So he's going to just, it's like, bait.
Yep.
So we went there, me and my mom, and she knew everything. Like she knew everything about my past and about my grandmom. And the reason that is, though, I just want to share some context on that, is because like demons, they have been around forever.
Yep.
Like, there's familiar spirits. That's biblical. They
Yep.
watch, they observe.
Yep.
They're very intelligent. So they're going to know things.
Mm-hmm.
And there are demons that have a specific assignment on like this person, that person, on this life, on that life. And
Mm.
so they knew what I was doing that day.
So what do you think?
How does she know that a demon has an assignment?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't even know if she talks about it.
And like I guess like I want to listen to the full podcast. You say you listen to like half
There's
of it, yeah.
about half of it, yeah.
But like, how can someone have that discernment to like know a demon's like assignment? Like, that feels like it's reaching slightly on
Think-
stuff.
You think?
Like, we're not like we can't just have like an open conversation with a demon and ask them like if you believe that they exist, like you can't just ask one like, oh, what's your assignment? Like, how does she know that? Do you know what I mean?
BTEC
Like-
level 3.
Yeah. I just when people like talk like
So
about
certain.
the subject and they're so certain in what they're saying, like even the way that she's saying it, like she believes what she's saying, but I'm a bit more like,
Cautious.
yeah, like I don't. I'm interested to see where she's gonna go with this.
It's more right what I was thinking. The fact she talks about how demons are around forever, or they have been around forever, which is like that's biblical, like it's true.
Yeah,
That's what makes me lean towards like, oh, she's probably got a point. Like
Yeah.
whether I agree with her or not, like I think she has a point because it's like they're outside of time. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
That's such a big concept to think about,
Mm.
that they'd be outside of time. But it's true, if we believe in God, then we still have to believe that the demons exist as well, because it's
Mm.
all tied together in the start when this all happened. With like the whole story of Satan being an angel
yeah,
within like God's choir, and then he fell from that and decided to rebel against that, and then he became Satan from that, Lucifer, and then from that all of his own angels were called demons.
Mm.
It's like the opposite of an angel. I believe
Yeah.
that's right.
Well, it's like, so they were all angels.
Yeah.
And basically once, this is my understanding of it, so once Lucifer fell to become become the devil, a third of the angels fell with him. So, like, took his side. He's like the just basic wording of it.
Yeah.
So took his side, and therefore they fell with him, and are all on, like, earth.
Yeah. So if you believe in angels, you have to believe in demons, really.
Like, you can't just believe in one
Yeah,
side.
you
not
have to
in
believe
the
in
other.
both. So from that logic, I do believe that they exist, and they could have assignments, but I don't know how she's able to discern that. That's what my point is.
Yeah, I get
Sort
that.
of thing.
I get that. I wonder if she'd say. I mean, it makes sense to a point. Makes sense because it's like they've got to have some sort of instruction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got to have a game plan.
Yeah.
You know
Well.
what I mean? Just like they got to go in blind. Well,
Oh. Let's see what she says then.
And they knew how to commune with this lady. And again, this lady had no idea that she was talking to demons.
Right. She just tapped into what she believes is a power.
Right. And mediums genuinely think they're doing something good. Like, she thought she was helping us. She was even saying that, like, the archangels were there, and she was praying, like she had a crucifix on the wall, like all this stuff. So she thought she was doing something on behalf of the kingdom of God.
Right.
But it's necromancy, and that's like explicitly abominable
Yes.
before God, and we're not supposed to do that. That's like illegal access to the spirit realm. And not only that, but it's incorrect access to the spirit realm because you can't talk to the dead. Like that example you gave, the Witch of Endor,
Yeah.
there's a lot of speculation, like, was that the ghost? Was it not a ghost?
I don't know.
But I truly think
But so, like, do you believe that's true? So, like, do you believe that that woman was talking to demons, or do you believe that that woman is kind of just making it up, like reaching, like, in her own head?
Oh, but it's a difficult one. I don't know.
It's a matter of
I don't know,
opinion.
man. I feel
To a point, it's a matter of opinion because, like, how would either of us know? We
no,
wouldn't know.
we don't. We won't know. But I feel like in the same way that like God will look at like the posture of our heart towards Him in some aspects, or like if we sin and or we slip up and fall short in certain areas, but then like our like posture is to like stop that behavior or to like change our ways, like repent. That's all like stuff that's internalized within us. There's like an internal dialogue to that. And the same way when this person says that they're able to communicate with demons, is it like an internalized dialogue sort of thing, like we would have with like I guess like our own like wrestles or stuff.
Yeah, I believe it's
I
a similar
don't know.
thing. Personally, I believe.
Does that make sense? Like what I said, like about
Yeah, because like it's kind of you talk to God in your head in a way. Is that what you're getting at?
well, not like praying, but when we talk about like when we for myself anyway, like when I think about certain like sin or like stuff related to my relationship with Jesus, like I guess there's like an internal dialogue that you think through potentially, and maybe when this medium person is like speaking to demons, that's like what's going on.
So they're like opening themselves up in a similar way that we would when we talk to God, but they're
Yeah.
doing that for other things.
Yeah, or you could even say, like on the other side of the coin, that the same way that we would pray to God, they may be there praying to the enemy, like to the opposite side. I guess you could argue that as well.
Yeah. So my aspect on it is when I looked at other things, it's like she said, it's like an illegal entrance to the spirit realm. So it's like when we talk to God, we talk to, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like going through the back door, where it's like they're entering it through other means to, like, I don't know, try and get something out of it, and then like the devil would take advantage of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they definitely would take it, but I feel like it must be in such a vulnerable position when that's going on that they're just gonna pounce, like then the devil's just gonna pounce on that like situation. But yeah, to be honest, like this is not a subject that I've got experiencing personally, so I'm just going off like thinking out loud. But yeah, have you like ever experienced like a friend or anyone who's like spoken to demons or like had that experience?
I do. I don't know if I want to say it though.
Okay.
Purely because
We can keep it for another video.
yeah, we should get him on to talk about it.
Okay.
That could be the follow-on to this.
Yeah. Let's do that one.
Because you know him as well.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you after.
I'll tell you
Yeah, I
after.
was gonna say.
But I'd like to know what you guys think.
Yeah.
So if you bang that in the comments, what's your opinion? Do you think people can enter into that
Yeah.
or not? Got anything to add?
No, I mean, let us know if you enjoyed the video. Like ultimately, we can continue to do this sort of content. Tell us if you want more videos to do this like subject where it's about like speaking to demons or like that realm. I know that like from our first video with Sabrina Carpenter, there was like the witchcraft element and how like that's such like a thing that's proliferated like across the culture. Like it's quite a big subject, so yeah, let us know if you want more videos on that sort of stuff. But yeah,
Sweet.
cool.
Catch you on the next one.